I now call this meeting to order. Roll call. Am I gonna do roll call?
The mic's not working.
Oh,
Hold on a second. Commissioner Walton,
Present.
Commissioner Daniels,
present.
Commissioner Moulton,
Present.
Commissioner Nielsen,
Here.
Commissioner Gaines Lynch,
Present.
Commissioner White,
Present.
Vice Chair Maxwell,
Present.
Chair Jacob.
Excused. Okay, item number 2, public comment. This is the time where members of the public wishing to address this commission on matters within the jurisdiction of the city of Seaside, but not on this agenda, may do so during the public comment period for up to 3 minutes. Comments on specific agenda items are heard under that item. For the public record, please state your name.
Members in the chamber, if you'd like to make public comment, please approach the podium. And members on Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature and dial *9. There's no one on Zoom wishing to make public comment.
Okay, I'll give them another few seconds. Public comment is still open. Okay, public comment is now closed. Item number 3 is the approval of minutes from our December 12th, 2022 minutes, our meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
The minutes from the meeting, December 2012, 2022, including their changes.
It's been moved and seconded. There are a couple of typos that need to be corrected. Okay, on page 2, under business item A, the second sentence says phosphate is a part of MC Gifts. It's gives. Gives. It is a gift, but it's called MC Gives. Monterey County Gives.
GIVES.
Correct.
Wait, item what, page 2?
Yes, page 2, business item 8A, second sentence. And then, you got that? Page 3, item 8C. Down towards the bottom where Commissioner Daniels is talking, down the second to the last sentence, you got moved twice. It says
Okay, I got it.
currently in the works that do move
I got it.
forward. Okay. So just omit one of those. Other than that, it's all cool.
Two errors.
So it's been motioned and seconded. Anything else? Okay, all in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays have the same right. Seeing none, motion carries. Okay, review of the agenda. If there's any items that arose after the 72-hour posting deadline, this is the point in the meeting where a vote may be taken to add the item to the agenda. 2/3 majority vote is required. Can we also, this is a question, remove something from the agenda? Like table it till the next meeting? Okay, I would suggest that we table until a future meeting, business item 5G, which is the nomination and election of a new chair and vice chair, since we don't have everyone available. That's my motion.
I second that emotion.
Okay,
Emotion.
As acting chair, you cannot make the motion.
okay, well, that's an idea.
You entertain a motion.
I'll do that then. I'll entertain a motion to table business item 5G till next month.
I'd like to make the motion to table item 5G until our next meeting.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to table business item 5G until our next meeting. Do we need a roll call vote?
The roll call vote.
Okay, let's do a roll. Oh, okay. Do we have any public comment?
Members of the public in the chamber, please approach the podium, and anyone on Zoom, you may use the raise your hand feature by dialing *9.
Can I make one correction to that notification? If you're on your phone, you dial 9, correct? Not if you're on a computer.
*9 if you're on a phone. Yes, correct.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that, so.
See no one on Zoom.
Okay. So public comment is closed. We'll do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Walton,
No.
Commissioner Daniels,
Yes.
Commissioner Moulton,
No.
Commissioner Gaines Lynch,
No.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Nielsen,
Yes,
Vice Chair Maxwell.
Yes. So the motion carries 4-3.
James voted no. He voted yes.
The motion passes 4-3.
Thank you. Are there any other agenda items? Okay, moving on to the next business item 5A, receive a presentation from Neighborhood Improvement Commission to discuss and make recommendations on the potential funding options on current projects.
I believe we have Mr. Little, Chief Building Official, to present on behalf of the Neighborhood Improvement Commission.
Thank you. Good evening, commissioners. David Little, staff liaison for the Neighborhood Improvement Commission. At the last Neighborhood Improvement Commission meeting, the commissioners unanimously voted upon and approved $90,000 of the TOT tax that they received toward neighborhood improvement projects to go toward the Highland Otis Park. From what I understand, there was a $25,000 grant that was obtained by FOSPA, and this covered the playground equipment. However, there was a need for some additional funding to go ahead and install the equipment and to manage this project. And so the Neighborhood Improvement Commission wanted to put towards some money towards this park to make this a reality. And that was $90,000. They had $113,000 left over from their budget, and that needs to be encumbered before June 30th of 2023. And they put the majority of this money toward parks, or would like to. They still need the council's approval. They don't have any authority to spend money. They only have authority to make recommendations to the city council. The $90,000 was going to go toward the Highland Otis Park, and then they unanimously reviewed and approved $20,000 to go toward Neal Park and Pachetti Park. Pachetti Park to receive a park bench, and Neal Park to receive a park bench and a picnic table. I'm sorry, this isn't much of a presentation. I'm just providing some information. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your information. Does anyone have any questions? Commissioner Nielsen?
I just wanted to clarify, there was a grant that FOSPA got for Highland Otis Park. And then there was a grant they got for Fernando Park, correct?
I'm sorry, it is Fernando Park.
Oh.
You're absolutely correct. It's not Highland Otis, scratch that. It is Fernando Park. Fernando Park, they obtained a grant for $25,000 for Fernando Park. The Neighborhood Improvement Commission approved $90,000 to go toward Fernando Park. There you go. Thank you, Ms. Nielsen.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, out to the public comment.
Those members of the public in the chambers, please approach the podium. And if you're on Zoom and you're on a telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Reese, and and on behalf of FOSPA, I just wanted to thank the Neighborhood Improvement Commission for this generous gift, and it's going to enable us to have a much better park, a much better neighborhood, and a very much better community. So we thank the commission for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, public comment is closed. Business item 5B, discussion on the Kindness Rock stations.
This item was brought forth by Commissioner Daniels.
Thank you. Samantha Chioni reached out to me, the owner of Kindness Rocks. There's a station at Havana Solis Park, but the concern was that she had received some Mayor's Youth Fund money last year and wasn't able to hold the talent show due to low signups. So she was asking for direction on 2 other places to put the Kindness Rock stations, and she came with the parks, Capra Park and Highland Otis Park. Really, I just want to see the perspective of the other commissioners, as well as if any permit or paperwork was required. And that's pretty much it. Highland Otis and Capra. Yes, ma'am.
Permits or paperwork to have the stations.
Yeah, to install the stations, because with the concrete has to be applied for the posts. So I was wondering if permanent structures had to be permitted to be placed inside public parks.
Okay, that's going to be maybe the Public Works Director can answer that one, because I believe the one that's currently at Havana Solis didn't require any of that, correct? Because there's a Kindness Rock station there now. And I believe she just put it in. So if I'm hearing you correctly, she wants to make a more permanent structure?
Expanded. 2 more of those.
Well,
Because I believe the post needed cement.
Sherry Damon, City Attorney. Thank you for having me at your Parks and Recs Commission tonight. As I understood the question from Commissioner Daniels, the Kindness Rock person is having a hard time where she is located, and she wants to expand into 2 additional parks to have 2 additional stations, one at Highland Otis Park and one at Capra Park, correct? And so I think Mr. Mewis was going down the road of she didn't need anything to put it in at the existing park. And so therefore, with respect to the other 2 parks, she most likely doesn't need any additional permits. I think that's where you were going, correct?
that is correct, but then I also heard that there was potential delay, like needing to put a pad down.
I assumed I wasn't present when she placed one in Havana Solis, but that the posts for the sign needed to be cemented in. I was wondering if those itself needed permits.
So signs need permits. And if there's something permanently put into our park, I think that needs to be reviewed by our internal departments. So my suggestion to her would be that maybe working with your liaison can try to help smooth whatever that process, articulate that process better for her.
I would also recommend if she could come down and maybe give a presentation to the commission on exactly what's going to be laid out, what she's expecting, and kind of like show what the nature of the rock garden is and what we hope to achieve by having them in our parks. I think that would help give the commission a broader perspective of everything, and then can give the recreation and then the parks department as well an idea on what is needed to add them more to the park.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. City Attorney.
Public comment?
Public comment is still open.
Anyone in the chamber, please approach the podium. Member on Zoom, if you'd like to speak on this item, please dial *9 if you're dialing from a phone.
Yes. Public is all out there.
No one is wishing to make public comment here.
Okay, public comment is now closed. Okay, next item is business item 5C, receive an update on the San Pablo Bridge. Ms. Nisha Patel.
Public Works Director and City Engineer will come up and give a brief update on the San Pablo Bridge.
Yeah, I don't think I can provide a lot tonight. We did receive the report from the structural engineer. I haven't had a lot of time to go through it in detail, but it's not in good condition and the bridge will need significant repairs. So at the next meeting, I can give you more information, but it doesn't look like it's in a condition to put like a mural or anything on it right now, because it probably you know, the bridge, the mural will probably have to, like, some part of it would, or some other artwork probably need to come down. So that's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you. Public comment is open. Or do any of the commissioners have any questions or comments? Go ahead, Commissioner Nielsen.
Thank you. I guess this is kind of rhetorical, but you're saying it's going to remain closed for now.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the report is in, but
It's into engineering, but we need to review it thoroughly. Correct, it's a draft.
Presented, finalized and presented to the city council.
Correct.
Okay, that's the next step. Okay, thank you.
Public comment is open.
Anyone wishing to make public comment on this item may approach the podium, or if you're on Zoom, you can dial *9 if you're dialing from a phone.
Okay, public comment is now closed. Thank you for that. Okay, business item 5D. Receive update on the tree giveaway program.
I believe this is Mrs. Nielsen's. You wanted this update? Is there anything you would like to speak on? I'm gonna try and pull up something real quick online too.
Hey, Commissioner Nielsen.
Yes, to remind you that this tree giveaway project is residential tree giveaway that will, we hope to happen sometime this spring, if it's possible to get everything completed. And we have, I forgot how much money we have for that, 100,000? 10,000. 100,000. We could do something fun with that. Yeah, 100 trees, about 100 trees, maybe a little more. And this will be managed more or less through a Google form to apply for the tree. And they have to prove that they're a resident and choose the type of tree they want, not necessarily going to get, but there will be hopefully all native trees and then some fruit trees to choose from. And then hopefully they will be either required or strongly encouraged to attend a workshop about how to plant and care for the tree. And FOSPA and Sustainable Seaside and all the people that work in the parks on Saturdays will run the workshops on how to do that. We have the qualified people in those groups to do that.
And a brief update on my end. Unfortunately, I can't pull up the draft webpage because I don't have my credentials to log in to the website to edit it from this computer. But I have drafted a webpage, so we have a tree giveaway website that will be going live on our main page. In that webpage, you'll be able to find multiple videos on how to maintain, take care of trees. It will have a link to a tree survey that Commissioner Nielsen helped put together that I also uploaded to the website. It will have the application form that will be used for anyone that is interested in getting one of the free trees. So you'll go and you'll fill in the application, you put your name and address and everything in there. And then once we go through the applications and we decide whether or not you live, you say you live in the city of Seaside, before you can get your voucher to go and pick up your free tree, you have to verify your residency. So whether it be with your ID or a utility bill. So that will be in there. We will list the dates of any of the upcoming work days where representatives from FOSPA will be doing a tree planting website. So we have, all that will be on there. And then we're working with Hannah Gardens. So Hannah Gardens will be the vendor that you'll get your voucher, you'll take it down there and you'll be able to pick up. There'll be 4 varieties of native trees that you can pick. I don't have them off the top of my head, but there's the 4 native trees, and then any fruit bearing tree that anyone would like to go get will also be included, and you'll be able to get a bag of fertilizer and the tree. We are going to look and see if we can get either or a bag of fertilizer or a watering bag to be included. So that's one other piece that we're looking at. And then Commissioner Nielsen also helped put together the actual, like the policy. So that way as we want to keep this program moving forward, there will be a policy in place and you'll be able to review that policy as well on the website. So the plan is to hopefully get this rolling here within the next month of March, make the website go live, open up the application process, and then we can start, giving out these free trees. So we're just kind of finalizing the details. We gotta create the voucher and just have everything ready to go. So the community can enjoy the free trees and thanks to the Neighborhood Improvement Commission for, allocating some funds for this program. So we are really looking forward to get it going. We're trying to speed through it and get it done as fast as possible. So it is a little bit of a work, but we are, close to getting it done.
Very good. Do you have anything else? Does any commissioners have any questions or comments? Okay, take it out to public comment.
Hi, Jeannie Reese again from FOSPA, and I just wanted to reiterate what Commissioner Nielsen said about the education piece, because what's going to make this successful is not just that the trees get to people, but that the trees live and they continue and are healthy. And so we really want to, we and the partners from the Environmental Commission and the Sustainable Seaside would really like to see some education happen. And we've got a great resource of information in the people who work with FOSPA, and we are more than welcome to open up some of our work days, and it could be in the month of March. We've got great expertise so that the trees will be planted in a way that will keep them going for a very long time. So if we can somehow make that part of the process without delaying the process, that would be great.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public? Oh, Commissioner Nielsen, you have the floor.
I guess.
Let's wait for public comment to
okay.
finish.
Okay, public comment is open.
Those of you on Zoom, if you wish to make public comment on this item, you can dial *9 if you're using a telephone.
Okay, Commissioner Nielsen, you have the floor.
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
Did you close public comment?
Yeah, public comment is now closed. You have the floor, Commissioner Nielsen.
Thank you. In the beginning, just to reiterate what, we're reinforcing each other in some ways. In the beginning, that was a large ask. That was an important ask by the people who will be doing the workshops and seeing the trees in the neighborhoods, was really the education part of what you need to do is important for the success of the trees that are going to be planted. And also they can talk about trees being planted in the right place. I don't think any of these trees are really going to be that big of a tree, but roots do travel. So talking about the right place when we do the workshops is another aspect of that education. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Moving on to the next item. Is this item 5E, discussion on the maintenance of Wheeler tennis courts.
Not sure which commission, one of the commissioners wanted to discuss this item.
Well, I think so a member of the public came and asked if about striping, resurfacing and restriping the courts or something like that at one of our previous meetings. If I remember correctly.
So I can give a brief update. I know the city attorney and I and the assistant city manager met with the member of the public or couple members of the public, and to kind of discussed our process for getting the courts resurfaced. and letting them know it needs to be added to the CIP list. And then once, we project our CIP list out a few years in advance. So it's on the list. We also got to look at funding. And we discussed the last time that the courts were resurfaced was back in 2008, and it cost $140,000 back in 2008 to get the courts resurfaced. So while we have it on our radar, I believe it is currently on the CIP list, but it's still a year or two out, depending on funding. So we are looking at some potential opportunities for some grant funds to see if there's a way that we can do it. But it is going to have to kind of follow that path, if you will, of other projects in the list. The one thing that did come out of it, though, is that we did allow the group to use temporary paint to mark the pickleball lines instead of using tape as they were using it. So this will limit their cost. It's more, it's not permanent, but now they don't have to go out there, especially after all this rain comes, and retape everything. So those lines will be similar to what if you go to one of the other courts in the area. So they're pretty, they're there, you can identify it. So it will help the pickleball group moving forward, so they can feel a little bit more a part of the courts there. So we are working, it's on the list, but obviously, there's lots of other projects that the city has going on, and we are, trying to best figure out how we can incorporate all the different pieces there. So.
Okay. Anyone on the commission? Comments, thoughts? Diane Nielsen.
Again, thank you. I remember us talking about the Wheeler courts and their need to be in fiscal years past about, even putting like a porta potty up there or cubby hole type things and to resurface it, to sort of basically refurbish it, but it kind of went by the wayside. I can understand that. There's lots going on. I don't know if this is jumping the gun, but besides grants, is Wheeler a part of the overall park? The big what is it called?
The master plan?
Master plan.
They will revisit all of our parks in Seaside.
So they're gonna go there
They'll take a
too.
look at it, yes.
Yeah, so I may have talked to you about putting this on here just because I was thinking that maybe in the future, sooner than later, that maybe NIC would be helping the rec commission again and doing something, which I think the tennis courts, we've done so much for kids. Kids play tennis too, I know, but pickleball and tennis is one thing that we don't have anywhere else. And so I think it should be prioritized because we do need, it would be important to have something that adults can do also at a park. Yeah, that's it.
Any other commissioners?
To Commissioner Nielsen's point, I think Catino is, I drive by there every day, and the fact that it's multi-use and it is head and shoulders above any other park in activity that I see every day, and doing something where it's like a multi-use, like tennis, pickleball, like everybody be happy kind of thing. I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there, because when a park is designed for more than just one thing, more people go there. And I think that's what we all want, is a lot of people at our parks. So.
Good point. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, public comment is open.
Members in the chamber, please step up to the podium. And if you're on Zoom, you may dial in using *9.
Public comment is still open.
There's no one on Zoom.
Okay, public comment is closed. Okay, we'll move on to the next item, which is business item F, which I think we already completed, but is the submission of Form 700. Which is our financial or economic interest. Is that complete?
So if anyone needs a form, please let Terry know, and Terry can give you one, and hopefully we can get all these filled out and submitted by the end of the meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work. Okay,
We do need public comment on this item.
oh. Oops. Public comment is open.
In the chamber on Zoom, please dial *9 if you wish to make public comment on item 5F. Seeing no one on Zoom, Chair.
Okay, public comment is closed. Okay, business item 5G, we tabled until our next meeting. So we move on to the next item, which is supposed to be number 6, but we're not having a 6, I guess. This is number 7, reports from recreation staff.
All right, so since the last time we met, the rec department's been pretty busy as we started in the new year. We've had some successful events already with the Black History event that just happened last weekend. We've had our father-daughter dance that was 2 weeks ago as well. And we've also recently, the city council just approved the contract for the Parks Master Plan. So we will be having our first kickoff meeting with the consultant this week. And then as the process starts to go forward, the consultant will most likely come to a couple of the Parks and Rec Commission meetings, but then also reaching out to other stakeholders throughout the community. So I know a lot of you sit on other boards or youth groups and things like that that will be invited to participate in the Parks Master Plan process. So we're really looking forward to this and kind of getting this document up and ready to go. As we look forward to March, this month we will be having our spring swim lesson registration, which will open on the 13th for lessons from March through the end of March through May. And then on April 8th, we will be having our golden egg hunt. And don't want to forget, we're also having our movies in the park. We're bringing that back. So having movies in the park on March the 24th. And that'll be at Laguna Grande Park. We are moving forward on our activity guide for summer fall, so that we're hopefully to have that out on the streets and open to the public. The plan is to have them ready for distribution at our golden egg hunt on Saturday, April the 8th. I don't want to take any of your mojo, Bobby, about the PAL banquet, but the PAL banquet will be coming up in April, on April 7th. So that's another celebration that we'll be having to celebrate the kids that participated in our PAL basketball league this year. So that's pretty much what I got for the last couple of months. We're just, chugging along. Do have a couple of recruitments open as we're trying to fill some positions. We had some employees that went on to bigger and better things. So, they had, our STEAM program coordinator just left, and that's a role that we want to try and fill here pretty quickly to kind of keep things going with that. So other than that, that's about all I got for my report.
Any questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Walton.
Last year, you had mentioned the difficulty of recruiting lifeguards? Are you anticipating that same issue again this year?
Right now, we have quite a few guards that are in the queue, which is really good. So we just held a class 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and I think we got some applicants out of that one. We surprisingly enough, we had a couple people that are moving to the area that had their certs, and we're moving them in. So we are hopeful that we're going to be having some more guards here. The challenge is the ones that we are getting are high school students, so they are only available for a certain amount of time. So we're still struggling a little bit during the morning hours, but we are trending in the right direction. So, we're hopeful, and we're going to continue to push this, and we're trying to offer as many certification courses as possible.
Anyone else? I'd also like to add that the St. Patrick's Luncheon is coming up in March.
March 16th, we're having the older adult luncheon. Like always, the commission is welcome to come and help and serve and work in the kitchen. I believe our vice chair here is going to be cooking some corned beef and cabbage, as he does everything St. Patrick's Day for this event. So I'm looking forward to that. So yes, thanks for reminding that.
Correct.
And just for the record, we have our older adult dances every third Thursday of the month. So you can, calendar that if you'd like.
Okay, public comment?
There's no public comment on it.
No public comment on that. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna give you a public comment.
Oh, the public is here, so, okay. We,
Sorry, I just wanted to remind everybody, I know that Mr. Mewis knows this because it happened at the same night that the master plan was approved by the city council. There was also a basketball court approved for Lincoln Cunningham Park. I know it's been a long time. Everybody's been waiting for that, but that city council put their money where their mouth is, and that's moving forward. That'll come sometime later this year, I believe. Ms. Patel is here. She can give you a more specific timeline for that, but the contracts were approved. Also, a conceptual plan was approved for our trails that goes through the parks. So that was also a good thing that happened since the last time you met. So I just wanted to add that to your report.
thank you. Okay. The next item is reports from park staff.
Hi, Nisha Patel, Public Works Director and City Engineer, and I'll be giving the parks update. I just saw you bring up, okay, great. So I'm not sure how much more I need to update since there've been quite a few updates already, but so Ellis Park, just reminding you what we installed. It was a multi-use synthetic sports court and a picnic area, playground, grass field, and landscaping. And we're currently in the landscape maintenance period, which ends March 20th. Other than adding this drainage system over where the playground is, and there's some mulch there, we are done with construction. So construction started in mid-April, and we completed construction in late January, and then we had the ribbon cutting on January 27th. Thank you. So like Ms. Damon had relayed, Lincoln Cunningham Park, that's a project that's installing a full-size, high school-sized basketball court with a basketball pole and hoops, trash cans, and stormwater treatment. We just received the 90% plans on Friday, and staff went to council on January 30th to receive additional funding. to allow the project to proceed. And construction is expected to start in the beginning of May and complete at the end of August. So expect to hear that we'll be bidding that project out soon. Yeah, thank you. Highland Otis Park. That's, the upper area was completed, in the springtime, and the lower area, we were going to add a spiral slide and monkey bars and a new concrete curb barrier that would reflect the new fall zone. And equipment was purchased, but has not yet been delivered at our request, because we need to prep the site. And so on January 30th, council approved an additional allocation of $30,000, so that we could hire that contractor to do the site prep and install the equipment, and also construct that border. Can you go to the next slide? Okay, so Fernando, Pachetti, and Neil, Mescal Neil Parks, Mr. Little had relayed that NIC was had approved allocating some of their funds to those projects. So Fernando Park, that project is to install a swing set, a seahorse rider, artificial rock for climbing, a hand sanitizer station, and a picnic table and bench. And for Pachetti Dog Park, it was just to install a bench. And at Mescal and Neil, they were donating funds to install a picnic table and bench. So at the last council meeting, the council approved a budget appropriation of $80,000 from the general fund to the Fernando Park project. They have not yet approved the NIC allocation. That will go to council on March 2nd. So the $90,000 to Fernando and the $20,000 to Pachetti and Neil, Mescal Neil Parks, that'll go to council for their consideration on the 2nd. And I'll provide you a little more information about those projects in the next slide. So this slide shows the existing Fernando Park. And you can see there isn't any equipment there. There isn't a lot there. There's a bench and some low rock walls and a little bit of landscaping. Can you skip a couple slides actually? Skip those. Okay, so this is what the layout would be similar to. It might not be exactly like this, but down on the bottom is where the swing set would be installed. And then you'll see just to the right, there's the picnic bench and the table, and then the hand sanitizer station is right close to that. And then up top is the rock. Up on the top left is the rock wall to climb. And then to the right of that is the seahorse rider. Yeah, the street is either on the bottom or the top, because the rock wall is in between, and you can see where the rock wall is, like in the middle. And part of that's, I think, either all of it or part of it's coming down because they're doing. Yeah, there's some design that's going to be done. So this is a rendering of, the rock wall, the seahorse rider, the swing set, the picnic bench, the hand sanitizer station. Next slide. No, just one more slide, I think. Oh yeah, go back, please. Okay, so I had said that the NIC wanted to donate funds so that there was an extra bench at the Pachetti Dog Park. And that's because there isn't enough seating, people are bringing their own like lawn chairs. And you can see on this picture that there's some lawn chairs. There are a lot of pictures that have lawn chairs. Yeah, that should provide some additional permanent seating. And then the next slide. So this gazebo trellis type structure was not structurally sound, and so we had to take it down. And so the next slide is what it looks like today. It was a little rainy, so I brightened up the picture, but that's what it looked like today. That's what it looks like today. And so there's really nothing out there. So there, so yeah, NIC is donating funds for there to be a single picnic bench and table to be put out there. It's going to be put at the park. Yeah, well, maybe we'll have to throw some more money to put something else out there, but because that one picnic bench will be quite lonely out there. Well, a picnic bench and table. But yeah, that's all that's out there now. Yeah. Yes. And as Ms. Damon had relayed as well, the trails project is moving forward, but it's being moved forward like in conjunction with concept plans for Lincoln Cunningham and Havana Solis. Because if they had designed the trails alone, then we would have had a design around the trails, and quite possibly if we had constructed the trails, it could have been removed, because in order to add amenities afterwards, they might be damaged. So council had approved on January 30th for Whitson engineers to develop concept plans for both parks, and that would incorporate location of the trails and amenities, and we will involve FOSPA and other public in the process. But the concept plans will provide, again, the park layouts. It'll determine the trail locations. It'll allow us to ensure proper drainage and prepare for accessibility in anticipation for the other future park amenities. Currently the consultant is performing survey of the site. So they've started, and the plan is to have the concept plans complete by June of 2023. Next slide. Okay, so Catino Park, you've heard about this project for a while. This is part 2, phase 1, because part 1 is all the new improvements that have already been constructed, like the skate park and the multi-use field and those improvements. So now we'll be improving the parking lot, the playground, installing visitors bleachers, constructing an accessible pathway, installing benches, removing trees, installing stormwater treatment, landscaping, a sod in where we had originally proposed where the pickleball courts would go, in between the homes and the Boys and Girls Club, and provide irrigation for that area that will install sod. And so on February 16th, construction bids came in. And February 16th, also council approved a contract with Wallace to perform construction management for construction of the project. Also to perform inspection, testing, and provide CDBG. That's the grant that we received for the project, $250,000 for this year and $250,000 for next fiscal year. And since we received the construction bids on March 16th, we're now able to provide a recommendation to council on March 2nd to award a construction contract to Granite Rock Company. They were found to be the responsible and responsive bidder, and construction will start in April and is expected to end in March 2024. And that completes my update. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Well, I, for one, am happy to hear that Granite Rock is getting the contracts for Catino Park. because I fully believe that they will perform. I, however, am really still to this day disappointed with Ellis Park and the performance or non-performance of that contractor at that project. And if you recall, the day of the ribbon cutting, I pointed out some items to you,
Mhm.
and it's still not been addressed.
Okay.
So, and that was, I wasn't nitpicking the
Mhm.
project, but it was an obvious thing. So in my opinion, that needs to be addressed by one of their crew. And it needs to be not just that one area that I pointed out, but the whole entire thing. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be turned over like that. And I also, as far as Catino Park goes, I'm really happy that we're improving it. But like I said in the past, we really need to take care of what is there already. And it's not being maintained properly. There's a lot of areas in that park. And I hope that this commission continues the park tours, because we need to get out and walk and see what is in disrepair. And it really is in disrepair. And that's really sad, considering the cost of it, the investment that the city put in it, and the newness of it still. It's a fairly new project. It has just been turned over to the city. So that's all I have as far as my opinion. Anyone else from the dais? Robert, Commissioner Daniels?
I just have a question concerning Lincoln Cunningham with so much construction happening on both sides. I know with the well in the beginning of the park and the basketball court, is the park itself going to be closed?
So we haven't determined a well location yet.
Isn't it a test site is what I'm saying?
No, we haven't determined a test site location either.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? Commissioner Nielsen?
I'm just curious about the Fernando Park hand sanitizer station. Do other parks have hand sanitizer stations?
I defer to Director.
We do not have any hand sanitizer stations in any of our seaside parks. So this will be the first one. It was something that was going around like in the middle of COVID, where a lot of parks were putting them in. So I think this is kind of like a new trend that is starting to happen. Just not in seaside, but just in general.
And who's going to maintain that?
Be similar. It will be the public works staff. Will be similar to filling or changing like the dog waste stations. So when new bags and things need to be changed like that, it would be the same thing when a new sanitizer needs to be filled. It will be, be monitored that way.
So really is it felt that that's really necessary?
Well, that it was one of the items included in the grant request that FOSPA, went after.
Okay. I just can imagine how labor intensive it will be to refill hand sanitizer stations for the public works. They're already working a lot, but that's fine. And one more thing is, why are we installing sod at Catino Park when really grass is not the thing to plant?
That's what the council decided.
Did they say we want grass there?
They did.
And did they say why?
They said they wanted an open grassy area for kids to be able to kick a ball around, throw a frisbee, just have an open grassed area.
And
That's,
that can't decompose granite instead. I mean, can anybody? Who?
people,
talk to?
there are public that kicked around some ideas, and there are council members that kicked around ideas when it was decided at the council meeting, that that's what they decided to move forward with.
So our irrigation system in most of our parks is off, but this particular park is gonna have irrigation to water a lawn. It just seems ridiculous, really. Is there any possibility to revisit that?
I mean, it's going to council on
Pardon?
the item is going to council, the award of the contract on Thursday.
This Thursday?
Mhm.
Thank you. Thanks for your presentation.
Commissioner Walton.
I'd just like to piggyback on Commissioner Nielsen's comment about the hand sanitized Fernando. That's a small pocket park. So if we were considering it as an experiment, we're certainly not going to get any idea because of the traffic. I would think a more highly trafficked park would be a good place if you were looking to get an idea of whether or not hand sanitizers make sense in a park. Of all the parks in the city, that would probably be the last one that I would think would be feasible for doing, and I live across the street, so I
Yeah.
think I have a pretty good perspective on this.
Chair, if I
That's
may.
all.
Yes, Mr. Dan Migwas.
Just for clarification on this whole process with that is FOSPA applied for a grant for the park and they put in different pieces on there. And this was just something that they put in there. So it wasn't like the city was seeking it out. And I'm not exactly sure on the details of the grant application, if that was a requirement. So that is the main reason why we're getting a hand sanitizer station in this one park and none of our other parks. So, we're not necessarily trying to, see how well it does. It was just put in the grant application, and the city is helping FOSPA facilitate that and then providing extra funding to actually get everything installed.
And when I looked at the cost, it didn't seem like it was like a high dollar item. So if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out,
Yeah, we'll just have an empty hole with the hand sanitizer, and I think it'll be just one thing that,
we can take it down. We can take it down.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
I do agree with Commissioner Nielsen on that because it does take additional staff hours to refill and maintain that too. And we're already short-staffed. It's obvious. Thank you. Anyone else? So, thank you for your presentation.
Great, thanks.
Okay, the next item is reports from commissioners. Commissioner Moulton, you have anything?
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Walton,
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Nielsen.
Just that if anybody wants to come to any of the park work days out there in the public, if anybody's listening or anybody on the commission, your parks are maintained a lot by volunteers. I know that the Public Works Department does a great job, but there's 20-something parks in the city, and they could use love and attention. Even just picking up garbage once in a while at some of the parks. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gaines Lynch,
Nothing.
Commissioner White,
Nothing.
Commissioner Daniels.
Nothing to report.
Really? I'm kidding. I could always report on something, I guess, but I would just like to put it out there that I wish somewhere in the near future that we can get back to our regular meeting schedule every month instead of having to call special meetings. And we need to continue our park tours. So I think by our next meeting, I think the time changes, doesn't it? Sometime in the near future, so maybe it'll be more conducive to us getting out in the world and looking at our parks firsthand. Besides that, I'd just like to give a shout out to our, well, it is our kids, it's our youth. Because young men that started their basketball careers in our city, in our programs, a lot of them go to Monterey High School and they won the CCS championship. Saturday was a championship game. So I'm really proud of them, and they're playing tomorrow night against Kingsburg High School at Monterey High for the CIF state finals. So anyway, that's all I have. Our next special scheduled meeting is March 20th here in these chambers at 5:30 p.m. Everybody, I hope you're well and hope to see you then. Take care. This meeting is adjourned.